Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome back. It's your girl, Unique Air. Thank you for joining me again for another reading on the astral body. Yes, are y'all ready? We are going to go into the functions of the astral body. But hold on one second. I got to run and take care of something real quick. And I'm going to entertain y'all for a second with my son's music. So YouTube, don't snatch this video down. This is copyright protected. And it's my son's music. I'll be right back, y'all. Hold up. Picture this. Picture your family at peace. No more starving, no more hustling, no begging in the streets. A land of milk and honey where we got enough to eat. Walk with me for a second and I'll show you where it be. Where our freedom is complete. We ain't gotta repeat the same cycles of yelling out death threats over beats. Where pocket B.I.G. is still alive. And black folk ain't gotta rob and steal just to try and survive. Where popping guns ain't live cause we all about creation. Children roaming the streets, leisurely recreation. No worries about them getting lost or being taken cause we all one village, no pillage, no raping. All right, y'all. Let's get started. So, again, it's your girl, Unique Air here, your metaphysical doula, teaching and talking about principles that will help in this life and beyond. Because we know there is no death, right? Repeat it with me. There is no death. It's life after life. We all incarnate to learn something and get on up out of here. And when we learn everything we need to learn, we ain't got to come back. So let's do some learning right now. Okay. So we're going to talk about the astral functions. All right. Let me get my reading in. Here we go. The functions of the astral body may be roughly grouped under three headings. 1, to make sensation possible. 2, to serve as a bridge between mind and physical matter. 3, to act as an independent vehicle of consciousness and action. So the astral body can, 1, make sensation possible, serve as a bridge between the mind and the physical matter, and it can also be independent. All right. Says we will deal with these three functions in sequence. When a man is analyzed into principles, i.e., into modes of manifesting life, the four lower principles, sometimes termed the lower quaternary, are physical body, etheric body, vitality body or prana, desire or kama. All right. And it's kama, K-A-M-A. It's not K-A-R-M-A. It's K-A-M-A. All right. The fourth principle, kama, is the life manifesting in the astral body and conditioned by it. Its characteristic is the attribute of feeling, which in rudimentary form is sensation and in complex form, emotion, with many grades in between these two. Let's read that again. Sometimes you got to read it twice to really absorb what's going on here. So the fourth principle, kama, is the life manifesting in the astral body and conditioned by it. So kama is your life in your astral body and conditioned by it. Its characteristic is the attribute of feeling, which in rudimentary form is sensation and in complex form emotion, with many grades in between these two. This is sometimes summed up as desire, that which is attracted or repelled by objects, according as they give pleasure or pain. So maybe we've been looking at kama all wrong, but let's keep reading. Kama thus includes feelings of every kind and might be described as the passional and emotional nature. It comprises all animal appetites, such as hunger, thirst, sexual desire, all passions, such as the lower forms of love, hatred, envy, jealousy. It is the desire for sentient existence, for experience of material joys, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. Kama is the brute inside of us, the ape and tiger of Tennyson, the force which most avails to keep us bound to earth and to stifle in us and to stifle in us all higher longings by the illusions of sense. It is the most material in man's nature and is the one that binds him fast to earthly life. Wow. Y'all get it? So when they be saying you need to burn out your karma, that's not something that you've really done. That's your desire. Once you burn out your desires here, there's no need to come back here. Once you learn your lessons and burn out your desires and die to self, die to the ego, you're done. It's time to go somewhere else. It is not molecularly constituted matter, least of all the human body. It says, this is an Indian word, y'all. Sharira. It's ST, it's Sharira. Then there's the STHULA. Stahula. Sharira. That is the grossest of all our principles, but verily the middle principle, the real animal center, whereas our body is but its shell, the irresponsible factor and medium through which the beast in all us acts out its life. Wow. Let's read that again. It's not molecularly constituted matter. Comma is not molecularly constituted matter, least of all the human body. Stula Sharira, that is the grossest of all our principles, but verily the middle principle, the realm, the real animal center, whereas our body is but its shell. The irresponsible factor and medium through which the beast in all us acts out its life. Oh God. Yeah, this is kind of like a Middle Eastern type of book. I don't think they really worded it right. So it's not molecularly constituted matter. Comma is not molecularly constituted matter, least of all the human body. But this comma is the grossest of all of our principles, the middle principle, the real animal center, whereas our body is but its shell, the irresponsible factor and medium through which the beast in all us acts. Okay? Karma or desire is also described as a reflection or lower aspect of Atma or will. So, reflection or the lower aspect of our will. The distinction between that will is self determined, whereas desire is moved to activity by attractions to something or repulsions from surrounding objects. Desire is thus will discrowned, the captive, the slave of matter. So they're saying here karma or desire is also described as a reflection of the lower aspect of a person's will. So your karma is really desire, and it's the lower aspect of your will. The distinction being that will is self-determined. Will is self-determined, okay? Whereas desire is moved to activity by attractions to or repulsions from surrounding objects. Desire is thus will without a crown, the captive, the slave of matter. Your desires, you led captive by your desires, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. So when they talking about burning out your karma is not reaping what you sow. Karma is your desire. Okay, we getting this? Another way of regarding karma has been well expressed by Mr. Ernest Wood in his illuminating book, The Seven Rays. Karma means all desire, and desire is the outward turned aspect of love, the love of the things of the three worlds, while love proper is love of life and love of the divine and belongs to the higher or inward turned in self. Oh, y'all, I'm getting all kind of downloads here. Okay. 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 Do y'all, man. So karma is desire. So you can see who gonna be coming back here just by looking at how they live. If they so thirsty for money, so thirsty to screw everything that's moving, if they so caught up on material things, and you can see that they haven't burnt out their karma. And now I see why the Buddhists, they sit up in them orange in those orange wraps in the mountains to stay away from things. But you're not living then. You need to live. You got to have your experiences to see if you have the desire. If you shut yourself off somewhere, you haven't had any kind of testing or anything like that. So, okay. So the love, proper love, is the love of life, the love of the divine, and belongs to the higher or inward turned self. Once you go within and stop looking at things outside of you and develop yourself inwardly, then there's no need to come back here. All right. And what does religion do? Y'all know I always harp on religion. Religion keep you looking outside yourself, right? When it's always on the inside. Says, for our purposes in this book, desire and emotion are frequently used as practically synonymous. Strictly, however, emotion is the product of desire and intellect. Mm. Emotion is the product of desire and intellect. Remember that. The astral body is often known as the kama rupa, and sometimes in the older nomenclature as the animal soul. So the astral body is known as the animal soul, okay? Impacts from without striking on the physical body are conveyed as vibrations by the agency of prana or vitality, but they will remain as vibrations only, merely motion on the physical plane. Did not karma, the principle of sensation, translate the vibration into feeling? Thus, pleasure and pain don't arise until the astral center is reached. Hence, karma joined to prana is spoken of as the breath of life, the vital sentient principle spread over every particle of the body. Let's read that again. This is something we need to absorb. It's not about how fast we go, it's about the quality of the reading and the understanding. Okay? It says impacts from without striking on the physical body are conveyed as vibrations by the agency of prana or vitality. So any impact that's striking your body is conveyed as a vibration by vitality or prana, but they will remain as vibrations only, merely motion on the physical plane. Did not karma, the principle of sensation, translate the vibration into feeling? So karma gives you the feeling from the vibration. Thus, pleasure and pain don't arise until the astral center is reached. Hence, karma joined to vitality is spoken of as the breath of life. So you feel vibrations on your physical body from prana and vitality, but karma is what translated into a feeling, which is an emotion, right? And the emotion with the vibration is the breath of life. It appears that certain organs of the physical body are specifically associated with the workings of karma. Among these are the liver and the spleen. Hmm. And remember, karma is desire. So the liver and spleen are closely associated with the workings of desire. Okay, how so? Let's read on. It may be noted here that karma or desire is just beginning to be active in the mineral kingdom, where it expresses itself as chemical affinity. In the vegetable kingdom, it is, of course, much more developed, indicating a far greater capacity of utilizing lower astral matter. Students of botany are aware that likes and dislikes, desires, are much more prominent in the vegetable world than in the mineral, and that many plants exhibit a great deal of ingenuity and sagacity in attaining their ends. Okay, let's go and find out what sagacity is. It's the first time me ever seeing this word. It says, and the many plants exhibit a great deal of ingenuity, we know what that is, and sagacity in attaining their ends. Let's see what the word sagacity means. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Sagacity. Sagacity means the quality of being sagacious. I mean, that's not enough. Acuteness of mental discernment and soundness of judgment. So plants display sagacity, acuteness of mental discernment and soundness of judgment. It says here, many plants exhibit a great deal of ingenuity and acuteness of mental discernment and soundness of judgment in attaining their ends. Let's keep reading it, y'all. Okay. I ain't read this in a long time. It's been a while. It says here, plants are quick to respond to loving care and are distinctly affected by man's feelings towards them. They delight in and respond to admiration. They are also capable of individual attachments as well as of anger and dislike. I didn't know plants could do that. Animals are capable to the fullest possible extent of experiencing the lower desires, though the capacity for the higher desires is more limited. Nevertheless, it exists, and in exceptional cases, an animal is capable of manifesting an exceedingly high quality of affection or devotion. That's why I love cats. That's true. Passing now to the second function of the astral body, to act as a bridge between mind and physical matter, we note that an impact on the physical senses is transmitted inwards by prana, becomes a sensation by the action of the sense centers, which are situated in kama. The sense centers, they said, are live in the spleen, right? And is perceived by mind. Thus, without the general action through the astral body, there will be no connection between the external world and the mind of man. Mm. Thus, without the general action through the astral body, there will be no connection between the external world and the mind of man, no connection between physical impacts and the perception of them by the mind. Hmm. Conversely, whenever we think, we set in motion the mental matter within us. The vibrations thus generated are transferred to the matter of our astral body. The astral matter affects the etheric matter. This, in turn, acting on the dense physical matter, the gray matter of the brain. Okay, so when we start to think, we set in motion the mental matter. The mental matter, the vibrations thus generated are transferred to the matter of our astral body. The astral body affects the etheric matter, and this in turns acting on the dense physical matter, the gray matter of the brain. It's a process going on that we don't even see. The astral body, the astral body is thus veritably a bridge between our physical matter and our mental life, serving as a transmitter of vibrations both from physical to mental and from mental to physical, and is, in fact, principally developed by this constant passage of vibrations to and fro. In the course of the evolution of man's astral body, there are two distinct stages. The astral body has first to be developed to a fairly high point as a transmitting vehicle. Then it has to be developed as an independent body in which the man can function on the astral plane. In man, the normal brain intelligence is produced by the union of kama with manas, or mind. So in man, the normal brain intelligence is produced by the union of desire, which is karma, with manas, or the mind. Okay? Let me read that again. In man, the normal brain intelligence is produced by the union of desire and mind. This union being often spoke of as kama manas. So when I'm saying kama manas, I'm talking about desire and the mind. Kama manas, or desire in the mind, is described by H.P. Blavatsky as the rational but earthly or physical intellect of man, encased in and bound by matter, and therefore subject to the influence of the latter. So the mind and the desire is usually subject to the influence of the flesh. because it's encased in this flesh. This is the lower self, which, acting on this plane of illusion, imagines itself to be the real self or the ego, and thus falls into what Buddhist philosophy terms the heresy of separateness. So this flesh is separating us from our higher selves, really. This, you know, when you think about the scriptures and it talks about take up your cross and bear it, if you stand up and hold both your arms out, this is your cross that you have to bear. This flesh, can you overcome it? Can you overcome your addictions to whatever they may be? Kama manas, or desire in mind, that is, manas with desire, has also been picturesquely described as manas, or the mind, taking an interest in external things. It may, in passing, be noted that a clear understanding of the fact that desire in mind belongs to the human personality and that it functions in and through the physical brain is essential to a just grasp of the process of reincarnation and is sufficient of itself to show how there can be no memory of previous lives so long as the consciousness cannot rise beyond the brain mechanism. This mechanism, together with that of karma or desire, being made afresh each life, and therefore having no direct touch with previous lives. I just want to say this because if the whole point of reincarnation is to learn your lesson, but every time you come back, your memory is wiped, you're not building. I mean, you still bringing back different things, but so much has been wiped out because you're being born again, stuffed into an infant body, and you're starting all over again. So to me, this is a punishment. You know what I'm saying? This is the hell realm. Remember in the Bible, it says, "Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth, for Satan has come down unto you having great wrath," and all this kind of stuff. This is not, you can come here and you can have fun here. You can do things here, but you shouldn't want to keep coming back here because it separates you from the true heaven realm, which heaven only means a haven, a safe place, right? You're separated from being able to float and fly and go to the depths of the oceans and build mansions for yourself on the other side just by thinking about it. You're separated from all of that. So this shouldn't be something you desire. So if your desire is to be filthy rich or to sleep with all these supermodels or to be a groupie for football players and all, just not thinking, going inward, that's not good. That means these people, will have to keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back, keep getting your memory right, and keep going through changes. So it says, karma being made afresh each life, desire, remember, karma is desire, being made afresh each life, and therefore having no direct touch with previous lives. That is a punishment to keep being sent back here, get born again, doctor slapping your ass. You gotta cry to eat. Gotta cry. You taking bowel movements on yourself. It's so much you want to say, but you're in an infant body, so you can't speak. You just can only scream and cry about it. Then you grow up and go through Sheol, school, hell, and be programmed, and see all the differences in this world. The caste system. Go hungry if your parents don't have a good education or whatever to feed you and give you what you need. You don't know what your outcome is going to be. You know what I'm saying? That's hell. Manas, or mind, of itself could not affect the molecules of the physical brain cells, but when united to kama, or desire, it is able to set the physical molecules in motion and thus produce brain consciousness, including the brain memory and all the functions of the human mind as we ordinarily know it. It is, of course, not the higher mind, but the lower mind, matter of the four lower levels of the mental plane, which is associated with karma. So it is, of course, not the higher manas, but the lower manas, the lower matter of the four lower levels of the mental plane, which is associated with karma. So it's the four lower levels of the mind that are associated with desire or karma. Mm. Four lower levels of the mind. In Western psychology, this kama manas becomes a part of what in that system is termed mind. Kama manas, forming the link between the higher and lower nature of man, is a battleground during life. During life. The desire in the mind forming the link between the higher and lower nature of man is the battleground during one's life, and also, as we shall see later, plays an important part in post-mortem existence. Oh, plays an important part after death. After death, post-mortem. So close is the association of manas and kama that the Hindus speak of man having five sheaths, one of which is for all manifestations of working intellect and desire. These five sheaths are bliss, discrimination, intellect and desire, vitality, and food. Mm. In the division used by Manu, the pranamaya kosha and the anamaya kosha. See, they using the Indian words in here. I wasn't going to even try to pronounce those. I'll use the English words for that. It says in the division used by the mind, the vitality and the bliss are classed together and known as the but Batatman or elemental self or body of action. See, this is Middle Eastern philosophy. This is Middle Eastern thinking. They understand the things that religion has taken away from us. So they're using Hindu words because the Hindus are. I hate to sound. I can't be racist because the Hindus get as dark as we do, but they were the original fallen. Okay. I got the books on that and I would have to read that and go into that, but they were the original fallen so-called black devils, right? So they know this stuff. They know it very well. And the Caucasians were grafted out of them. A segment of them was, not all of them, just a segment of them. But it says here, I love readings like this that you really got to dig into and stop and think and. So it says here in the division used by Manu, the vitality sheath and the bliss sheath are classed together and known as the Bhutatman or elemental self or body of action. The discriminating sheath and the sheath of intellect and desire terms the body of feeling, giving it the name jiva. He defines it as the body in which the knower, the oh God, what is that word? It's an Indian word. Kshetragna becomes sensible of pleasures and of pains. Well, I'm not gonna be able to read that like that, but just hang in there with me. And their external relations, the discriminating sheath and the sheath of intellect and desire, especially the intellect and desire, are related to the diva world. Got that name, diva. The divas are said to have entered into man, the reference being to the presiding deities of the elements. Hmm. Those presiding deities give rise to sensations in man, changing the contacts from without into sensations or the recognition of the contacts from within, this being essentially a diva action. Let's go back and understand the diva action. It says in their external relations, the discriminating sheath, right? And the sheath of intellect and desire, especially the sheath of intellect and desire, are related to the diva world. Now we have some, I'm a diva. I'm a diva. I'm a diva. Remember Beyonce singing that? So The sheath of intellect and desire are related to the diva world. Intellect and desire. That's kamas manas. That's the mind and desire, because the mind doles out intellect, right? So mind and desire are related to the diva world. So when you're hearing these people run around talking about they divas, desire and mind, the divas are said to have entered into man, the reference being to the presiding deities of the elements. Those presiding deities give rise to sensations in man, changing the context from without into sensations, or the recognition of the context from within, this being essentially a diva action. Hence, the link with all these lower divas, which, when supreme control has been obtained, makes man the master in every region of the universe. When the link with all these lower divas, which, when supreme control has been obtained, makes the man the master in every region of the universe. So you can, if you can overcome these divas and exhibit self-control, you like the master of the universe. I wonder, does that lend to why a lot of these men go into homosexual? I'm just saying, when you think about the religious structures, the religious orders, first thing they want you to do, especially if you're in the Catholic, side of it, they want you to be a non-participant. So they deny themselves women and they mess with little boys. And they think that that's holiness. No, that's not holiness. But I'm kind of wondering if that's why they have that frame of thought. Like, I don't need a woman. I can overcome a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's just interesting. It says manus, or mind, being unable, as said above, to affect the gross particles of the brain, projects a part of itself, the lower mind, which clothes itself with astral matter, and then with the help of etheric matter, permeates the whole nervous system of the child before birth. The projection from mind is often spoken of as its reflection, its shadow, its ray, and is known also by other allegorical names. Once imprisoned or incarnate, the mind essence becomes dual. That is to say, the rays of the eternal divine mind, considered as individual entities, assume a twofold attribute, which is their essential inherent characteristic, heaven aspiring mind, the higher mind, and the human quality of thinking, of animal cogitation, rationalized owing to the superiority of the human brain, the karma, the desire tending or lower mind. Yeah, this is a little bit more complicated. This is something I should be reading on my own. I don't know. Let me finish this up though. Lower mind is thus engulfed in the quaternary and may be regarded as clasping desire with one hand, whilst with the other it retains its hold on its father, the higher mind. Whether it will be dragged down by desire or karma altogether and be torn away from the triad to which by its nature it belongs, or whether it will triumphantly carry back to its source the purified experiences of its earth life. That is the life problem set and solved in each successive incarnation. So in each carnation, it has to be decided. Are you going to go with your higher mind, or are you going to stay in your lower mind with your desires? Which one is it? Are you going to overcome the self, or are you going to let the self overcome you and have to come back here again? Sounds about right. This point will be considered further in the chapters on after death life. Karma thus supplies the animal and passional elements. So desire thus supplies the animal and passion elements. Lower mind rationalizes these and adds the intellectual faculties. In man, these two principles are interwoven during life and rarely act separately. So karma thus supplies the animal and passional elements. So desire gives you the animal and passion elements, while the lower mind will rationalize it and add intellectual faculties. Wow. In man, these two principles are interwoven during life and rarely act separately. Your mind and your desire. Mind may be regarded as the flame, while desire in the physical brain as the wick and fuel which feed the flame. The egos of all men, developed or undeveloped, are of the same essence and substance. That which makes of one a great man and of another a vulgar, silly person is the quality and makeup of the physical body and the ability of the brain and body to transmit and express the light of the real inner man. In brief, desire mind is the personal self of man. Lower mind gives the individualizing touch that makes the personality recognize itself as I. Lower mind is a ray from the immortal thinker illuminating a personality. It is lower mind which yields the last touch of delight to the senses and to the animal nature by conferring the power of anticipation, memory, and imagination. Whilst it would be out of place in this book to encroach too far into the domain of mind and the mental body, yet it may help the student at this stage to add that free will resides in mind, mind being the representative of Ma'at. Remember the halls of Ma'at and your heart being lighter than a feather? Hmm. Manus being the representative of Ma'at, the universal mind. In physical man, the lower mind is the agent of free will. Wow. The lower mind is the agent of free will. From mind comes the feeling of liberty, the knowledge that we can rule ourselves, that the higher nature can master the lower. To identify the consciousness with the mind instead of with desire is thus an important step on the road of self mastery. To identify the consciousness with the mind instead of with desire, thinking, being intellectual, that's important, is thus an important step on the road to self mastery. Mastering your mind, how you think. Let me just diverge a little bit here. You ever been around a person who has no kind of mastery over their mind? For prime example, I had a friend that would always be like, girl, you shouldn't walk at the park by yourself. There's a lot of sex offenders out here. Or girl, you got to make sure you put all them locks on your door because somebody could come in your house. You shouldn't leave your window. And I'm just sitting up there like, wait a minute. I don't live in fear like that. Okay. Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm fine. I've been doing this long and ain't nothing happened to me. I've been through some things and I've been good. So don't bring your fear over here. All right. So just how somebody can be so in their lower mind, the fearfulness, things like that, where it may never cross your mind to even think like that. And as a man thinketh, that's what you're going to draw to you, right? So I don't live like that. But this person, they're always thinking something's going to happen. And I'm like, I can't be around you. I can't be around you. You trying to put your fears on me. You trying to make me think like you think. This is deep. That free will. This ain't got nothing to do with free will, but I'm just giving an example of how a person's mind can just be so stuck, but you got to master that. You got to master not living in fear or not being afraid of things all the time, or when the news is saying this gonna happen in your mind, no, that ain't happening to me. No, it's not. Right. Mm. So it says here, from the mind comes a feeling of liberty and the knowledge that we can rule ourselves, that the higher nature can master the lower. To identify the consciousness with the mind instead of with desire is thus an important step on the road of self-mastery. The very struggle of mind to assert itself is the best testimony that it is by nature free. It is the presence and power of the ego which enables a man to choose between desires and to overcome them. As the lower mind rules desire, the lower quaternary takes its rightful position of subservience to the higher triad, Atma, Buddha, Manas. We may classify the principles of man in the following manner. They got a chart here. I wish I could. You see? No, I ain't gonna let me show it. Shoot. It's a chart. I'm just gonna have to look over that because I can't. Well, we're coming to the end of the chapter. We may come to consider the third function of the astral body as an independent vehicle of consciousness and action. The full treatment of this portion of our subject, the use, development, possibilities, and limitations of the astral body on its own plane, will be dealt with step by step in most of the succeeding chapters. For the present, it will suffice to enumerate very briefly the principal ways in which an astral body can be used as an independent vehicle of consciousness. These are as follows. This is how the astral body can be used as an independent unit of consciousness. 1. During ordinary waking consciousness, while the physical brain and senses are wide awake, the powers of the astral senses may be brought into action. Some of these powers correspond to the senses and powers of action possessed by the physical body. They will be dealt with in the next chapter on chakrams. That's the next chapter. 2. During sleep or trance, it is possible for the astral body to separate itself from the physical body and to move about and function freely on its own plane. This will be dealt with in the chapter on sleep life. I've done that before. 3. It is possible so to develop the powers of the astral body that a man may consciously and deliberately at any time that he chooses leave the physical body and pass with unbroken consciousness into the astral body. This will be dealt with in the chapter on continuity of consciousness. 4. After physical death, the consciousness withdraws itself into the astral body, and a life varying greatly in intensity and duration, dependent upon a number of factors, may be led on the astral plane. This will be dealt with in the chapters on after death life, right? Because there's really no death. You just pass out this body into the next life. These divisions of our subject with numerous ramifications will constitute the major portion of the remainder of this treaty. All right, so we're done with that chapter. We're 42 minutes in. And the chapter on the chakras, I'll be doing that next. And no more reading for me today. I'm about to watch some movies and chill out, okay? Relax. My husband will be home soon. And that was interesting. That was, when they throw those Indian words in there like that, it's like, oh God, it throws me off. And they have those IEs and quotations. So I'm trying to skip around and make the point without making, having y'all lose track of what I'm saying. But so kama is your desire and manas is your mind. If you can overcome your desire mind, which are the the four lower divisions of the mind, right? If you can overcome that, if you can overcome the divas, you ready. You on your way. You are on your way to not having to reincarnate and to be done with this place. There's so many other worlds. Let me show y'all this this thing that I have here. I mean, it's so many other worlds beyond Earth. And I'm just starting to delve into this, but I want to show this to y'all if y'all can see it. Are they not going to let me show it? They're not really gonna let me show it like this. I would have to just take a picture. Anyway, it's about Terra Infinita, showing how we live on a flat plane, and behind the ice walls there are other planes, plane planets, whatever you want to call it. I wish I could really show y'all that. So it's so much out here to learn. There's so much out here to know. But I'm gonna end on this note because I don't want. In the name, this book again, the Astral. Let me turn this off. This is the problem right here. The Astral Body by A.E. Powell. It is a must read, and I have other books that can back up what this book is saying. You know, hey, if you want to make it into that other realm, and we all gonna get there because we all got eternal life already. And that's just something that people buy into religion, and they say, well, the gift of God is eternal life. Well, we already got that, because according to the laws of thermodynamics, energy can't be destroyed nor created. So them promising you eternal life in religion is just like you trying to sell me something I already got. You know what I'm saying? But you want to have a full understanding. So, ain't going to be no excuse, y'all. I'm telling you, when you pass out your body, um, and you don't know anything, that's not good. That's not good. You definitely going to have to come back, because, you get over that. And one thing you really don't want to do is pass out with addictions. I've lost a lot of family members who've passed out from drug overdose. And when you do that, you're talking about being trapped. You're talking about creating a hell for yourself. You got a lot to learn. Some people think when they pass out, they're going to know everything. When I get out of my body, I know it all. No. You know what movie kind of really gives you a real understand? Ghost. Ghost. Go watch Ghost. Go watch The Sixth Sense. Those souls that are trapped here. Bruce Willis played in The Sixth Sense. He didn't even know he was dead. Depending on how you die, you may not even know. Like if you die in war or a quick car accident, you get knocked out your body so fast and you can't get back in it, and you running around here. Nobody can hear you. Nobody can see you. Is that my phone? And I'm gonna get into that part when we get into the life after death thing. I got so many books on that. I've always been interested in what happens when we leave here. When I was little, I'm trying to figure out, why am I here? Like, I didn't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, I needed to come here and learn some lessons again. I obviously didn't burn out my desires, Um, but yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of juicy stuff to talk about as we go on. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm gonna go chapter by chapter. So tomorrow I will be reading about the chakras. You got 7 chakras: your crown chakra, your solar plexus, all this kind of stuff. We'll see how that works in the astral realm. So thank y'all again for joining me. And this is your girl, Unique Air, and I am signing off. And have a good night.